Yes. We will start the class directly. Om Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharyamadyamam Asmadacharyamparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Om. Wishing one and all a very, very happy Vishwasu Samvatsara. It is already Vishwasu here. We were seeing the 13th shloka in Sahasranamam in the previous class. Please repeat once after me. Rudro Bahushira Babruhu Vishvayonishu Chishravaha Amrita Shashvatastanuhu Vararoho Mahatapaha. We saw that this 13th shloka has 9 namas of Bhagavan, and up to the previous class we had finished 121 namas in all. We had to see the last nama in this shloka, which is the 122nd nama, Mahatapaha. Mahatapaha means one with the greatest knowledge. Now, Mahatapaha, Mahat Tapas, one who has Mahat Tapas is called Mahatapaha. So, one who has the greatest knowledge. Now, we are familiar with the word tapas with the meaning austerities. Shankarji, in the side with the meaning generally religious discipline or austerities. Tapas generally, that is what we know. But here, Bhagavan being Purnaha, there is no need for him to do any tapas. Where is the need? Because tapas is generally done by any person to purify himself, right? Where Bhagavan is Nitya Shuddha, he is ever pure, where is the need for him to do some tapas, to follow a discipline and make himself pure, to purify himself? There is no need. Therefore, if Bhagavan is called Mahatapaha, then in that context, the meaning of the Shabda Tapaha has to be something different. It cannot assume the general meaning that we already know. In Taittiriya Upanishad, the Brahmananda Valli, when the Srishti Prakaranam begins, Upanishad says, So kamayata bahusyam praja yegeti satapo tapyata satapastaptva idagum sarvamasrjata yadidam kincha satchatyacha bhavat niruktancha niruktancha nilayanancha nilayanancha Vijnanancha Vijnanancha Satyancha Nritancha Satyam Abhavat it explains how Bhagavan did the creation. There, he says, Bhagavan visualized and he did tapas. Satapo tapyata. And having done tapas, satapas taptva idagum sarvamasrijata, he threw out this creation. So, he did tapas and he brought out this creation. This is what Taittiriya Upanishad says. And if you take Chandogya Upanishad, again when it comes to Srishti Prakaranam are sections in the Upanishad which describe the evolution of the cosmos. So, Chandogya Upanishad says, Tad Aikshata. He visualized the creation. He saw the creation before it was created. Okay, he visualized it. Aitareya Upanishad says, Saha Ikshata, when it talks about the Srishti Prakaranam. So, and when you take Taittiriya Upanishad again, in the Bhrigu Valli of Taittiriya Upanishad, I hope the audio is clear in the recording. Okay. Bhrigu approaches his father, Varuna, and he has a question to ask him. So he requests that he has an opportunity to ask a question and clarify and know through his father who he sees as his own guru. He does namaskara and he asks, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayantyavisam vishantiti. And his father says, Tat vijignyasasva tat brahmeti satapo tapyata satapastaptva. So his father asks him to do tapas. He says, he gives him some certain clues and he says, you have to do vichara. There tapas means vichara. It does not mean he just sits closing his eye or he stands in one leg like that in Virkshasana and he did tapas and some lightning struck him and suddenly he was enlightened and he started just spelling out the knowledge. No. So his father said, go and do enquiry. He taught him and he said, inquire into this and come back. So, therefore, tapas means, of course, Bhrigu came back and then his conclusion was wrong and he went again. His father said, go back. Satapo tapyata, satapastaptva, again, He went again and then he finally found out the answer. So, that is how Bhrigu takes you through the Panchakosha Viveka and arrives at Brahman, the final truth of this Jagat and the self. Right? So, that is how Taittiriya is structured. What I am trying to tell you here is tapas in the context of Taittiriya or Chandogya or Aitareya Upanishads that we saw, tapas takes a different meaning according to the context. And where tapas means enquiry or vichara, it presupposes knowledge. Right? It means knowledge. So, and Bhagavan did tapas before he created this Jagat, before he brought out this Srishti, means he visualized this Srishti. Because before bringing out anything, one has to visualize it. Without visualizing, one can never create anything. Right? Even for the New Year kolam that you do, no? You have various videos. So the person who did the kolam has to visualize it first in her or in his mind. I also see men doing a very good job in that. Okay, so he or she has to visualize it, any art, and then bring it about, right? So, but how do you say Bhagavan's tapas is knowledge? What is the pramana? What is the source? Where in the Upanishad is it told that Bhagavan's tapas is knowledge? Mundaka Upanishad says, Yasya Jnanamayam tapaha. His tapas, Bhagavan's tapas, is in the form of knowledge. Now, what is the knowledge? What is that knowledge which we say is his tapas? Srijya Vishaya Jnana. The knowledge about the creation and the knowledge about everything that is created. What is going to be created should have already been visualized by Bhagavan. He should have already seen it. And then only the creator can bring about the creation. And that jnanam, imagine, to bring about a Srishti like this. Srishti meaning the entire universe, right? Which is itself considered to be infinite. You don't know where it ends. You don't know where the boundary of this universe is. It just goes on and on and on. And scientists are left clueless. And to bring about a Srishti like this with so many details until the atomic level or even the cellular DNA level, whether in physics or in biology, one's visualization or one's knowledge to bring about a Srishti like this has to be Mahat Jnanam. The knowledge has to be very, very, very great. And how he has to bring this about, not merely, according to his own whims and fancies, but he has to keep in mind all the jivas who resolved into him with the conclusion of the previous Srishti, right? He has to recall all the karmas that are left over, and he has to create a universe, a loka, where all their karmas have to get exhausted. The body and the loka, the experiential world. So, that is the greatness of the knowledge that is involved. That is the magnitude of knowledge that is involved. Therefore, he is called Mahat Tapaha. So, creation presupposes knowledge, and unless knowledge is there, there can be no creation. There is no creation without knowledge. So, Bhagavan is called Mahat Tapaha, Mahatapaha. 14th shloka, please repeat once after me. Sarvagas sarva vidbhanuhu Vishvakseno janardhanaha Vedo veda vidavyango Vedango veda vitkavihi. This 14th shloka has 10 namas of Bhagavan. So with the 13th shloka we completed up to nama number 122. So obviously the 14th shloka has to begin from 123 and has to go up to 132, because we just saw it has 10 namas. 123 to 132 comes in the 14th shloka. 123rd nama is Sarvagaha. Sarvagaha means Karanatvena Vyaptatvat Sarvatra. Sarvatra Gacchati iti. Karanatvena Vyaptatvat. Because, you can't do without it. Because he is the material cause of this world, therefore he is all pervading. Karanatvena Vyaptatvat. Sarvatra Vyaptatvat. Everywhere he is there. Therefore he is called Sarvagaha. And because he is all pervading, we can say he goes everywhere. Goes as it were. He goes everywhere. Therefore, Sarvatra Gacchati iti. Sarvagaha. That is the 123rd nama. 124th. Sarva Vidbhanuhu. Sarva Vidbhanuhu. Sarva Vid means the knower of everything. He knows everything. Sarvavit. He is Sarvajnaha and he is Sarvavit. Now Sarvajnaha also means knower of everything. And Sarvavit also means knower of everything. Now what is the difference? As Sarvajnaha, he knows that which is the cause of everything, the general cause of everything. And as Sarvavit, he knows the details of everything that is created, the specific details, the specific name, form, and the science behind it. A jiva who tries to gain the knowledge given by the Upanishad can become Sarvajnaha. Just like how Upanishad students and those of you who have already studied Mundaka Upanishad or Chandogya Upanishad, Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Bhavati. Okay, when the question is, what is that which I know, I am deemed to know everything. And the answer Guru gives is Karana Vijnanena Karya Vijnanam Bhavati. By knowing gold, I am deemed to know all the ornaments. Right? By knowing clay, I know all the earthenware. By knowing wood, I know all the furniture. Right? So this is Sarvajnaha, knowing the general cause of everything. But a jiva cannot become Sarvavit. It is not possible. There is always something that you don't know. And like Avayar said, Kattradu kaimannalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. There is always that part of this creation that you don't know. And that part you don't know is as big as this world, if you compare to what you know, which is as much as a handful of sand. Right? So, Ishvara, now is Ishvara Sarvajnaha or Sarvavit? He is both. He is both Sarvajnaha and he is also Sarvavit. Sarvam Veti. Sarvam Veti. Therefore Sarvavit. And Bhati iti Bhanuhu. This Nama, this 124th Nama, Sarvavit Bhanuhu has, you can split it into two, right? There are two words in this, Sarvavit and Bhanuhu. Together it is one Nama, Sarvavit Bhanuhu. So, Sarvam Veti iti Sarvavit. What do you mean by Bhanuhu? Bhati. Bhati iti Bhanuhu. Bhati means the one who is effulgent, who is glowing. Ishvara or Brahman is compared to the principle of light, because in the presence of light alone, the eyes can know, right? The eyes can see things. Therefore, bhasate is prakashate, and any sensory perception is compared to light. And how does the senses shine, or how do they work, how do they function? When the mind is behind the senses function, right? When the mind is not behind the senses, even if there is a person going in front of you, you don't take notice of that person. Your eyes see, the image falls in the eye, but you don't take notice. Now, when that person comes and says, I was waving my hand, and you never even said one hi, you're just passing by, and you say, oh, sorry, gavanikala. No, I didn't notice you. Because the mind was not behind the sense. And somebody keeps on calling you. The sound is heard, but you don't hear. Why? Because the mind was not behind the senses. So the senses shine because the mind shines. When you are fast asleep, and there is some noise heard. Say there was rain and there was a loud thunder that was heard, but you were so much fast asleep. You were deep. You were deeply sleeping that you could not hear the sound of the thunder. While some others woke up, you did not wake up. Why you couldn't hear the thunder? Because you were sleeping and the mind was not behind the sense, right? Therefore, senses shine because the mind shines. Now the next question is, how does the mind shine? Mind shines after consciousness. Because you are the consciousness principle, the awareing principle, mind shines after you. There is a mantra which occurs in Mundakopanishad, in Khathopanishad, and also in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. This mantra is so special that it appears in 3 Upanishads, popular Upanishads. And that mantra is a mantra that is chanted in many places, even in temples during Deeparadhana. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. This is the mantra that is chanted during Deeparadhana. Now, the mantra says, even the bright luminaries like Surya, Chandra, Vidyut, meaning the lightning, and even you can include the other electric lights that you have around you. Now it says, all these lights are light because of the light of consciousness. And they shine because of Ishvara. If the sun is shining, it is because of Ishvara that he is shining. Otherwise, the sun does not have any power to shine. Bhagavan says, I am the one who makes the Surya Devata shine, the Chandra Devata shine, the Nakshatras glow. So, without Bhagavan, when the sun, the moon, and any luminaries are not indeed luminaries, then how am I going to light up Bhagavan just by this small piece of camphor? As you show the Deeparadhana, if you see in temples, especially in Perumal temples, with the big murti of Perumal there, they'll say Tirupadam, Sevichukongo, Abhayastam, Tirunamam, and say Pirati Irka. They show the Deeparadhana, and here this mantra says, Kuto ayam agnihi. Now this small piece of camphor, how can it light up or how can it reveal Bhagavan? Right? So, Bhagavan, this camphor is not to reveal Bhagavan, but to reveal but to light up. This camphor is not to light up Bhagavan, but to light up my buddhi, which is steeped in ignorance. Right? That camphor light is compared to the Veda Pramana, and that is why I touch it and I put it onto my eyes. I do this action, right? I do that, which symbolizes that I accept the Veda Pramana as though it is, as I accept my own sense organ. As much as Shraddha I have on the eyes, as much as I accept the sense organ of the eyes, I accept the Veda Pramana because I know that there is no other source of knowledge that can reveal Bhagavan to me but for the Vedas. In the 15th chapter, Bhagavan says, Yadaditya gatam tejaha jagad bhasayate Tattejo vidhi mamakam. I am the light of the sun, I am the light of the moon, and I am the light which is illuminating this whole world. So, when he is the light who illuminates the entire world, what light can illuminate him? Right? So, he is Sarvavit and he is Bhanuhu. That is Sarvavit Bhanuhu. 125th Nama, Vishwaksenaha. Vishwaksenaha means one who is surrounded by armies on all sides. Vishwak Sarvatra Senaha Yasyasaha Vishwaksenaha. Now, why should he surround with his armies on all sides? Because I have obstacles from 3 different sources. One source is from the natural forces, Adi Daivika. The other source is from the environment, the immediate environment around me, which is Adi Bhautika. And the third source is I myself, Adhyatmika. Now, I may have obstacles from the Jagat from these 3 different sources, obstacles in 3 different ways. Now, for resolving the obstacle or to cross over all the barricades that come by my way, for the solution, I invoke specific devatas, and all of them are supposed to be soldiers who are there to protect me from all these obstacles. There is a shloka in Apaduddharaka Stotram on Shri Rama. Just Agratah Prishtataschaiva Parshvatascha Mahabalau Akarnapurna Dhanvanau Rakshetam Rama Lakshmanau. Says Rama, when you worship Rama, when you have absolute devotion for Rama, you know how Rama and Lakshmana appear for you? They stand in front of you, they stand behind you, they stand on both your sides. How do they stand? They stand with their bow and arrow fully, the string pulled, Karna Purna, up to their ears. No, when the string is fully tightened like that, it is ready to release. The arrow is all ready to release. Right? So they are so prepared. It is like on your mark, get set. Right? For them to fight against whom? My own obstacles. They are there to protect me from my obstacles, all my obstacles that come from these 3 sources. So, Bhagavan is Vishwaksenaha. He is there to protect me by surrounding me with his armies. 126th Nama, Janardanaha. Janardanaha, Shankara gives 2 meanings for Janardanaha. The first meaning is Janan, which means Durjanan, Ardayati, Hinastitiva, Janardanaha. He chastises, he punishes, and he inflicts suffering on all the Durjana, all the Adharmis. He who does this is called Janardanaha, the one who punishes bad people. He punishes bad people and he gives them the phalan of their papa karma. Therefore, he is called Janardanaha. That is the first meaning. Okay. The second meaning is the verbal root ard means yachana, means to implore. Janaihi ardayati yachyate iti Janardanaha. Because he is prayed, he is sought after by all the bhaktas, and they seek him not merely, okay, there are a group of people who seek him when they are in crisis, another group who seek him for improvements in their life, and there are though a small number, who seek him as not the mere means but the end in itself. Right? So, as the ultimate end. There are some who seek him as the relative end and some who seek him as the ultimate end. Because he is sought after by people, janaihi ardayati yachyate, therefore he is called Janardanaha. This is the second meaning. That is the 126th nama, Janardanaha. Now 127th nama, Vedaha. Vedaha. Again here Shankara gives two meanings. Veda Rupatvat Vedaha. Simple. He is in the form of the Vedas. We have known that the Vedas, most of us, I think as part of our bedtime stories or something, our grandmothers or our grandparents would have taught us that Veda is the breath of Ishvara. Right? Bhagavanoda Moochukathu is Veda. This comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. If one is interested to know where this is told in our scriptures, it comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It mentions in a place, it calls it as Nishvasita Nyayaha. It mentions that Bhagavan created this universe effortlessly, like one breathes effortlessly. Breathing is an effortless exercise, right? It just goes on and you don't take any special effort to inhale or exhale. It just goes on. So Bhagavan brought out this Srishti so effortlessly. And Veda, being the manual of this Srishti, was also given along with the Srishti by Bhagavan. And therefore it is often referred to as the breath of Bhagavan. In Mahabharata, there is one shloka which says, Sarve Veda Sarva Vidya Sasastraha Sarve Yajna Sarva Ijyascha Krishnaha Vidu Krishnam Brahmanas Tattvato Ye Tesham Rajan Sarva Yajna Samaptaha. Here in Mahabharata, it says all the Vedas and all the disciplines of knowledge are Krishna himself. Shri Krishna is the personification of all the Vedas and in fact all the disciplines of knowledge. Therefore, knowing Vedas is knowing Bhagavan. And those who know the Vedas are said to have known him. And those who have known him have completed all the yajnas, meaning there is nothing more left for them to do or accomplish, because they have accomplished the very purpose of this human birth. This is what we have been seeing right from the introduction class of Vishnu Sahasranamam. The stage 1 is Ishvara Aradhana and stage 2 is Ishvara Jnana. Ishvara Aradhana is to prepare your mind, and Ishvara Jnana completes the purpose of this human birth. So Bhagavan, since he is Veda Rupatvat, in the form of the Veda itself, he is called Vedaha. This is the first meaning. The second meaning is Vedayati itiva Vedaha. He is the one who makes us know. Veda is a very interesting word. Veda as the noun form. Okay, in the noun form, it is Vedaha, right? It means the scripture, Veda. When you pronounce Veda without the Visarga, when you say Veda, no aha. Okay, when you say Veda, it is the verb form. It means to know. So Vedayati itiva Vedaha. He is called Vedaha because he makes you know. Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha vedantakrit veda videvachaham. 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. Of everything the subject matter of all the Vedas. What is the subject matter? It is me. I am the Veda. I am the author of the Veda. I am the one who is revealed through the Vedas. Everything is me. And there is no other way of knowing me other than through the Veda. There is no other means that can reveal Bhagavan. No other means which is capable of revealing the Swarupa of Ishvara other than Veda. Science cannot prove Ishvara. Science cannot prove even the subtle parts of this creation. Science cannot prove what is there in your mind. You cannot use science to see or know or to scan somebody else's mind or somebody else's knowledge or intellect, somebody else's memory, somebody else's ahankara. Ahankara meaning the kartritva, the doership. So, when science cannot enter these areas, and there are these areas which science has no access to. Science has no access to anybody's Punya Papa account. And Bhagavan is the creator of all those things that which are accessed by science and which are out of the scope of science. Right? So, Bhagavan, who is such a creator, how can he become the subject matter of science? Right? So, the more and more research scientists do, they find that this universe gets more and more mysterious. Meaning, those are, because they are trying to arrive at the ultimate cause of this creation, and the ultimate cause of creation is not a subject matter of science, because it is not perceptible to sense organs, and science can function only in those fields that are available for sensory perception. Therefore, science cannot validate Ishvara, science cannot validate Veda. Science cannot say Veda is correct or Veda is wrong. Science cannot even say Veda is correct. Science is nobody to validate Veda. Okay? Ishvara, who is the Paratma and the world, the Jagat. How are both of them connected? Ishvara and world, the connecting factor is Maya. And there is no way you can arrive at Maya through science. No way. Right? So, this arriving at Maya or the cause of the creation through science or logic is not a possibility. The entire creation being the manifestation of Ishvara, and all the disciplines of knowledge that exists are nothing but his own manifestation. And he is already, all the knowledges already exist in him. He is Sarvajnaha. And whatever is his Saguna Swarupa and what is his Nirguna Swarupa, there is no way of knowing both apart from studying the Vedas. So, there is no way of knowing all this without Shastra Pramanam. And he is the one who makes you know through the Shastram. And who is the Shastram? That is also Bhagavan himself. He is the Shastram, he is the one who makes you know, and he is also the subject matter of the Shastram. 128th Nama, Vedavit. Vedavit occurs, will come for one more time as the 131st Nama. Yeah. Vedavit means he is the knower of Vedas. He is the knower of Vedas. He is the knower of Veda because he is the author of Veda. Okay, the author has to know the book, right? If the author writes a book and he says, I don't even know what I wrote, then there is some problem, right? So, author is the one who knows the book completely in the proper way without any doubt or misunderstanding. So, Bhagavan has to know, is the one who knows the Veda completely without any wrong understanding of the Veda. He is, in the 15th chapter, he says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtaha matta smritirjnanam apohanancha vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha vedanta krit vedavit eva cha aham. I am Vedanta krit. I am Vedavit. Vedavit means Vedakrit, the knower of Veda, because he is the Vedakrit. He is the author of the Veda. Right? We just saw that in the 127th Nama, the previous Nama. Because he is Vedakrit, he has to know the Veda, therefore he is Vedavit. And he is also Vedanta Krit. Vedanta Krit means he is the Guru. He is Vedanta Mahavakya Upadesha Krit. Upadesha Karta, one who teaches the Mahavakya. So, he is the Guru, he is the student also, and he is the one who makes the student know, and he is the one to be understood by the study of the Vedas, which is also himself. So, Bhagavan is not only all knowledges, but he is also the one to be known. He is Vedyaha, and he is the one knowing whom everything is said to be known. And he is also the knower of Veda. In chapter 7, Bhagavan says, the second shloka, he says, Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshataha yajñatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. He says, I will teach you both jnana and vijnana, meaning I will give you the knowledge of my saguna swarupa and my nirguna swarupa, knowing which jnatavyam avashishyate. There is nothing else to be known. I will teach you completely. Asheshataha idam vakshyami. And there, I will teach you without leaving out anything, and knowing which you are said to know everything. Therefore, knowing Bhagavan, one is said to know everything. 129. Avyangaha. There are two meanings here. Okay, the first meaning is Vyanga means any deficiency. Okay, any defect or any deficiency. Therefore, Avyanga means without any defect or without any deficiency. Bhagavan has got no deficiencies. He is not deficient of anything. We know that because by definition, Bhaga means he has all the Aishwaryascha, Samagrascha, everything in full measure. Right? So he does not have any deficiency at all. This is the first meaning. The second meaning is Vyanga also means Vyakti. Vyaktihi. Vyaktihi means manifestation. Therefore, Avyanga means not manifest, or it means not available for sensory perception, for sensory objectification. In chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate. Avyaktaha. I am avyaktaha. So, he is not available for sensory perception. So, how to know him if he is not available for sensory perception? Go back to the previous few namas. There is no other way of knowing Bhagavan other than through the Vedas. He is the one who is revealed by the Vedas. He is Vedakrit, Vedavit, and he is Vedaha. 130. Vedangaha. Vedangaha means for whom the one for whom the Veda is Anga. Veda Anga Bhutaha Yasya Saha Vedangaha. Bhagavan is the one for whom the Veda is Anga, and Veda is Anga and he is Angi. Veda is his. Anga means he is the Angi. And he is the subject matter of the Veda. He is the one who is reached through the Vedas. In the Vishnu Purana, there is an imagery of Yajnavaraga Swami, Yajnavaraha Murti, that is given. And in that imagery of the Murti, Vedas are the feet of the Murti. Okay? And I hope all of you are familiar with the Varaha Avatara of Bhagavan. When Hiranyaksha kidnapped the Bhudevi, okay, Hiranyaksha took the entire Bhugola and he submerged it into the cosmic ocean. Okay? So, that the earth was round was known at that time itself. Okay? It was spherical, was known at that time. So, we never claimed that the earth was flat. Okay? This was what? The third avatara during the Vedic times itself. How many? I don't know how many thousands or millions years before. Okay? So, what did Bhagavan do? To protect Bhudevi from this Asura, Hiranyaksha, Bhagavan protected her. He redeemed her from the cosmic ocean. And there is this image of Bhagavan where, he is, he has the face of a wild boar and a human body, right? And in his face, the snout of the boar, he carries the entire earth, right? Also, in the Varaha Murti, there is a Murti where the Varaha Murti, in the lap of Varaha Murti, Bhudevi sits. You have that form also. Okay, so you have a form where Bhudevi sits on his lap, which is Pirati Sahita Perumal, right? It is Sagunam Brahma, Maya Sahita Brahma, Sagunam Brahma, and there is this picturization or imagery where he carries the Bhugola on his snout in the wild boar form, right? So, when he is carrying the Jagat, he is not the Jagat, he is different from the Jagat, he is the Adhisthana of the Jagat, he is the supporter of the Jagat. Okay, so he is Vedangaha and Vedas are his feet, so which means that he is revealed through the Vedas. 131. Vedavit. We just saw that in 128. The Nama occurs again as the 131st Nama. Here, the meaning is Vedan Vinte Vicharayati iti Vedavit. In 128, it is, I think, a rare instance where we have the same Nama repeating and we are seeing it in the same class. Because all the repetitions we will see later, but in a different class, right? So here we are seeing both in the same class. So in the 128th Nama, we saw that Vedan, he is the knower of the Vedas, right? Here, the derivation is Vedan Vinte Vicharayati iti Vedavita. He is the one who inquires into the Veda. There is this, we will finish with this Nama today. So, there is this Dhyana Shloka to Bhagavad Gita, which is written by Madhusudana Saraswati Swami. He says, Sarvopanishato Gavaha Dogda Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdang Gita Amritam Mahat. He says, all the Upanishads are like the cows, and the essence of the cow is the milk. And who draws the essence of all the Upanishad cows, that is all the Upanishad knowledge, the essence of all the Upanishad knowledge is milked by this milkman Dogda, who is Gopala Nandanaha. He's an expert milkman, right? So he milks the Upanishad cows and he draws the essence of all the Upanishads. So Krishna inquired into all the Vedas. Remember, Krishna was a student. He had a teacher. Rishi Sandipani was his teacher. So he has studied all the Chaturdasha Vidya, Ashtadasha Vidya properly. He is a Sampradaya Acharya. Right? So he inquired into the Vedas and he gathered the essence of the Vedas and he gave it to Arjuna, just like how the essence of the cow, which is the milk, is given to the calf first, right? The milk is actually for the calf, and because it was drawn for the calf, and after the calf drinks, it serves the entire mankind, right? So just like that, this milk, the essence of the Upanishad, which was drawn just for the sake of Arjuna, Krishna could gather this because he had inquired into the Vedas and he gave it to the entire mankind. That is why we say Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. So he is Vedakrita, and if he is Vedakrita, he has to be Vedavit, that we saw. If he is the author of Veda, he has to be the knower of Veda. Right? That we already saw in 128. In 131, he has also inquired into the Veda. He didn't say, yeah, I only wrote it, I know it. No, he came back to do the enquiry of the Veda. He came back as Vyasacharya to present the enquiry of the Veda. He came back as every guru in this sampradaya. There is this shloka that we chant in every Upanishad class. It says, Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punaf Punaha. He came back as Vyasacharya to do the enquiry of Vedas and present the Brahma Sutra. He was the Sutra Krita. And then he came back as Shankaracharya to present the Bhashyam for the Sutrams written by Vyasacharya. And the Brahma Sutra is nothing but the enquiry of the Upanishad. So, and this Bhashyam, how did he write? He writes with the knowledge. The Sutram and Bhashyam, the enquiry was presented with the background of Shiksha Shastra, the phonetics, and the Pratishakya, the grammar literatures, and the Mimamsa, the science of analysis or the science of investigation, the science of interpretation. There is a science called hermeneutics. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it right. Hermeneutics, which is a research that deals with the interpretation of literary texts. So, Vyasa analyzed, inquired and presented the Vedas, and Bhagavan again appeared as Shankaracharya to present the meaning of the Vedas. Therefore, Veda with 131. Do I have one more minute to finish this shloka? Kavihi? Yes? No? Yes, thank you. So, Kavihi, 132nd Nama. With this, we will complete the 14th shloka. So, one who sees beyond the present time. Okay, one Trikala Nyaha. Right, one who knows the past, present, and he is able to see the future. So, Bhagavan is the one who knows the past, the present, and he is the one who also knows what will be. Therefore, he is Sarvajnaha, all-knowing, and he is Kavihi because he is Sarvadrik. Not only that he sees everything in detail. He sees the future with details, with all the details. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Na anyaha asti drashta. There is no other seer other than Bhagavan. Because he is the very seer in every individual. And Ishavasya Upanishad describes Bhagavan. For all the Upanishad students, this could be an interesting piece. Okay? Ishavasya Upanishad describes Bhagavan as Kavir Manishi, the 8th mantra of the Upanishad. And Bhagavad Gita, in the 8th chapter, 9th shloka, it gives the description of Bhagavan, Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram, There also Bhagavan is described as Kavihi. So all these places describe Bhagavan as the seer, the knower, Trikala Nyaha, one who sees all the 3 periods of time. So with that we complete the 14th shloka. We will see the rest of the shlokas in the upcoming classes. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. In the upcoming 2 months, in the month of May and in June, will it be possible for us to have 2 classes per week, which will be, for those in US, it will be like 1 class every Sunday morning and 1 class every Sunday evening. Will that be okay? So we will be able to, only for these 2 months, we will be able to study a little more, and then we can get back to 1 class a week from July onwards. Is that fine? Will it be okay? Yeah. So thank you. So we will announce the schedule. Don't worry about it. When we will start this, we will announce the schedule. For now, we have class next week, same time. Hari Om.